good? What's good? What's good, Laker Nation? Happy Sunday. Happy Easter to all those who celebrate this wonderful day. My name is Patrick Brown, and I am the host of this beautiful podcast known as The Forum, a Los Angeles Lakers podcast right here on the grid. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, even subscribe to the YouTube channel. Only takes a couple seconds, but man, I am feeling great right now. I don't know about y'all, but I feel amazing after the conclusion of the regular season today. A little wild at the moment because of all the ramifications that was in play, but man, what a game, what a game. We're going to dive right into it here shortly. If you would, make sure that you check us out for real, because the network is expanding as we speak. A lot of content creators are doing phenomenal work. Go check my guys out. Be sure that you follow us on the social media platforms on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also follow me at Showtime Lakers 17 on Instagram, and you can follow me the Forum on Instagram and Showtime Lakers 17 on TikTok. Sorry about that. Got a little excited because after today's game, but let's go ahead and talk about it. LeVirtuoso James delivers a game that we are used to seeing. With everything on the line, LeBron James was in his bag today. It's the first time that the Lakers have finished 500, maybe the second time that we finished 500. With everything that's gone on in the season, what to do with Russell Westbrook, slow start, injury bug, trade deadline, and we still get to the play-in. Ain't that something? When everybody was riding us off, saying, Lakers ain't gonna make it. They'll do good just to get by. How about 18-8 over the last 26 games? Think about that for a second. We will host the Minnesota Timberwolves on Tuesday night at the Crypto.com Arena. It will be a nationally televised game on TNT. It'll be on 9 p.m. here in the Midwest, 7 o'clock out on the West Coast, 10 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast. And if we win this game against Memphis or against Minnesota, we will face the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round next weekend. But first, we got to start with the man, the myth, the player of the hour, Mr. LeBron James. Ladies and gentlemen, Laker Nation, LeBron James finished with 36 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists on an 8 of 14 from the three-point line, which is 57%, 13-25 from the field at 52%. LeBron James was dialed in from the moment this game tipped off. He knew what was at stake. Anytime it is a win or go home game for LeBron, these are the kind of performances that we as fans are used to seeing from LeBron James. This goes back to his days in Cleveland. People could say, Bron, he can't get it done. Lakers missed the playoffs the second year in a row. LeBron he heard all the noise. He's heard all the noise all season, when the season started. Passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the all-time scoring list. Shout out to the captain. It's been a season of up and down. It's been a rocky tenure this year. Coach Darvin Ham looks like he's been out of sorts at times and trying to figure out his rotations. But when you have LeBron James on your team, you have a chance. You have a chance to get a win. And by golly, George, LeBron delivered today. You may ask, well, Patrick, how come LeBron can't play like this every game? He can, but in year 20, age 38, he's aged like fine wine. But we all know that father time waits for no athlete. LeBron has been the beneficiary of taking care of his body with sports science and nutrition. Even at age 38, you still could go out and play at an extreme high level. A lot of people question me being a LeBron fan, along with being a Lakers fan. LeBron doesn't care about winning championships. He's in LA, power broker on Hollywood, got all this other stuff going on. But when LeBron is locked in, he's the best player on the floor. At this particular stage of his career, how many players, especially basketball players, do you know that can still go out and play 35 minutes, sometimes 38 minutes, and still do what LeBron does? Not too many basketball players can say that. LeBron James is still a top 7 player in the NBA. You may say, well, he's missed a lot of games this year. Well, would you rather him have been on the sideline in a walking boot and we missed the playoffs? Or would you rather have LeBron at 85, 90% and still go out there and you still have a puncher's chance? Despite everything that was at stake today for seeding and all that stuff, all we had to do is win both of our last games, which we won Friday night against Phoenix and today against Utah to close out the regular season with a record of 43-39. Not too many teams can say that right now. There's some teams that honestly didn't, that just had a downfall. I won't go into that discussion today. I'll say that for another day, another time. But the West was pretty bunched up. It was bundled up. Seeds 4 through, might as well say 10th, was separated by less than 3 games. One team would win, another team would win, and then 2 more teams would lose, and it was just a domino effect. But I'm kind of happy that the Lakers stayed the course, despite everything that happened over the last couple months after the All-Star break. Made some trades, got rid of Russell Westbrook. We got youth. We've got some guys that's some knockdown shooters. Austin Reeves is playing for a new contract. AD has been AD. He can be your second best player on the floor, and there's some nights he's been your worst player on the floor. But I'll get into AD a little bit later on in the show. But LeBron James is the one player in sports that we've got to appreciate of what's left of his career. Even as the media pundits will still find a narrative and use against him. If I'm LeBron James, I ain't got no worries. My game speaks for itself. If you want to hold these narratives over me and it helps you sleep at night, go for it. I'm a 4-time champion, 4-time league MVP, and I got the one record that nobody thought was impossible to break. All-time leading scorer in league history. A record that was held for quite some time. As much as the general basketball fan did not want to see happen or to be broken. Records are meant to be broken. LeBron James will go down as one of the greatest players to ever play this game. Laker Nation, be very, very thankful that LeBron James chose the Lakers versus staying in Cleveland or going to New York or some big market outside of LA. It's been a rocky tenure with LeBron, but we should be very thankful that he's there to put us back in contentions to get into the playoffs and compete for championships. This is one team right now. I don't think Memphis is going to be ready for it if we can get there. Because rest assured, the Memphis Grizzlies do a whole lot of talking for a team that hasn't won anything. Yeah, they've been to the playoffs. But the last time I checked, as the late Nipsey Hussle once said, the Memphis Grizzlies have been to one Western Conference Finals, and that was in 2013 with the Grindhouse Grizzlies with Marc Gasol, Zebo, Mike Conley, and Lionel Hollins was the head coach. There's no reason why we can't go into this playing game Tuesday night and win, get a few days off before we have to hop on a plane and fly to Memphis. Memphis is going to be the well-rested team. But we have to take care of Tuesday night before we can think about next week. LeBron is the leader of this team. AD is the co-pilot. We've got to make our adjustments. It's the one thing that has irked me all season. This team is not good at making adjustments. It's sad, but as a basketball coach, those are things you have to do. You have to know those things. Coaching is a matter of knowing your rotations, your lineups, your big lineups, your small lineups, and somebody has got to be a defensive anchor. Now, credit, AD played fairly well today. Not great, just fairly well. I'm not going to sit here and bash AD today. Today is not his day. It's for King James. For LeBron, this is his day. Led the Lakers to the victory. But we've got to get it together. And I will discuss that here in a few moments. Running down through the stats from today's game. AD finished with a double-double, 16 points, 13 rebounds. Jarrett Vanderbilt had 12 points. D'Lo gave us 17. Austin Reeves gave us 12. Rui Hachimura, 12 points. Malik Beasley, 13 points. Pretty good showing today from our Lakers. I thought the team came out in the first quarter. They were locked in. They were dialed in. But here's where it gets a little interesting. We cannot let bad teams hang around. That will get you beat in the postseason. What irked me today, they got too complacent. Got too comfortable. Utah started making some shots, and next thing you know, a 13-point lead was down to single digits. The Lakers have a tendency to just play one good quarter of basketball, and then, you go into the second quarter, and it's like you build this lead and build this cushion, and then next thing you know, it's that double-digit lead is gone. LeBron's already on the bench getting his rest. You got to bring him back in to kind of stop the bleeding, because guys just want to get out there and start trying to knock down three-pointers and bad turnovers, and then you're getting beat in transition and you're half-court off, getting beat in half-court sets. You can't do that against teams with young legs that like to run up and down the court, that can push the ball. You can't be late on defense. As soon as if a shot doesn't go down, you should be hustling back down to the other end. You should not be half running, because that late, you not getting back on defense, a result in a fast break possession. Those kind of possessions you cannot have in the postseason against good teams. You got to be locked in on both ends of the floor. You have to be dialed in. I don't need guys out there taking possessions off or out there trying to do too much. That leads to turnovers. One thing that concerns me, and should concern you as well, defense was a little bit to be desired as the game went along, mainly through the second quarter through the third, because Utah would not go away. One thing that was really, really starting to get under my skin as a former basketball player, points in the paint. I got a little interesting stat for you. Guess how many points the Utah Jazz had in the paint? Guess how many points they scored in the paint? 76-50. 76 points in the paint. That's not going to win you a whole lot of basketball games. It will not win you a whole lot in the postseason if you're not doing anything to stop the bleeding. It was a layup line most of the day. I mentioned this last week after the loss to the Chicago Bulls at the Crib last Sunday. You cannot allow these teams with the big bodies down low to get easy buckets. You cannot allow it. You cannot allow their guards to get to their spots and dump it down low to the big man for an easy layup or an easy bunny shot. You cannot do that. That's where I need AD to be effective, is near the rim. Credit he played well in that regard on down low and late in game. But I need AD to be AD, dominate. Don't go down and play soft. Don't allow a big man less superior than you are destroy you. Vanderbilt and Wayne Gabriel and Mo Bamba, I'm going to need those guys to, do the step up in this playing game on Tuesday night. We've got to get stops. Because when you start getting gassed midway through the fourth quarter, late fourth quarter situations, you have to get stops. You cannot fall asleep on defense. You cannot miss assignments. Because missing an assignment against teams that can shoot the ball really good and teams that like to play inside out, they will find a way, they will find a weakness in defense and they will beat you. They will expose that. To a degree, I'm going to discuss the Minnesota Timberwolves here shortly. But here's some things that I need to see from this team going into Tuesday night. Tonight's Sunday. You got tonight off. You'll have a walkthrough tomorrow on Monday. A light shoot around on Tuesday. And it's win or go home on Tuesday night. We've got to be better with our communication. The communication on offense and defense. If we can do that, I believe we can slow down Minnesota. Here's why. There's some issues going on with the Minnesota Timberwolves, which I will discuss here momentarily. But I think if we can slow down Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, I believe that we can beat Minnesota. That's going to be the focal point on defense. He's a very good spotter. He's a very good shooter. He can get to the bucket with no issues. He's not afraid of putting guys on posters. That's the one player I think we have to take away from the equation for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We can do that. We have a legitimate shot to beat Minnesota. We had to take him away from the game. We had to take him out of we had to put him in some mismatches. We've got to attack him. but we've also got to stop him. We've got to eliminate bad turnovers. Bad turnovers turn into easy buckets on the other end. I don't need to see sloppy basketball. This is pretty much an elimination game on Tuesday night. You win, you go into the postseason. You lose, there's a whole lot of questions, but very little answers. And the person who catch the most blame, LeBron James. Why? Because LeBron was hurt and in and out of the lineup. But we made the trades. AD's been in and out of the lineup. He's had his fair share of bad games too. But they will look directly at LeBron and say, okay, you missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. What you gonna do? LeBron did his job today. But it's a collective effort from everybody if we're trying to get to the postseason. Because I don't believe Memphis would be ready for us. They can do a whole lot of talking. They want all the smoke. But at the end of the day, you've got to put the kids in timeout. You have to remind them that they're light years away from being a title contender. We've got to make free throws. Free throws are very crucial. Because that's the difference in you winning a good game and playing a really tight, close game. You make your free throws, you give yourself some cushion. You miss your free throws, you put yourself behind the 8 ball. We don't want that. You want to try to keep as much distance between you and your opponent whenever you get in these late game situations. Miss several free throws, that's going to be the glaring stat that's going to stand out like a sore thumb. Just like Utah scoring 76 points in the paint, and we still managed to win 128-117. The score is a little bit misleading. Because if you look at Utah's points in the paint, that's what kept them in the game. Not anything else. That's what teams are going to do to the Lakers. That's what Memphis is going to try to do. And I have a gut feeling that's what Minnesota will try to do. Will, with a big W. Effort outweighs your mistakes. If you're out there, you're hustling, you're making a conscious effort on your part, good things will happen. Because energy is contagious. You get a couple stops here and there, you're going to ignite the crowd. But if you're out there lackadaisical and just out there just running around and not knowing what's going on, you're going to be on the ESPN highlight reel, either getting dunked on or getting your ankles broke. We've got to close games. And when I say close games, don't let Minnesota hang around on Tuesday night. Don't give them any glimmer of hope that they could come back and beat us. You start strong, you finish strong. You start middle of the road, you're gonna go into the final minutes with dead legs. Case in point, we've got to come in Tuesday night. You have to treat this like a game 7. Today we play like it was a game 7. The teams that are playing today for seeding, it was a game 7 for them. Let the chips fall where they may. But we have to, when we get these leads, learn how to use the shot clock to our advantage. Don't rush the possession. You start jacking up 3-pointers and they're not falling. Minnesota say, oh, we've actually got a chance. No, you don't. You cannot get in that mindset of having a 12, 14-point lead midway through the third quarter going to the fourth and you give Minnesota life. We've played too many games this season in that magnitude. You have to build cushion and keep your foot on the gas. You cannot let up. Minnesota may not have the firepower offensively, but at the same time, you can start chipping away a lead little by little. And what do the Lakers do whenever that starts to go AWOL? They panic. Coach Hand panics, and everybody else is just out there running around trying to stop the bleeding, but they can't. We've got to come out on Tuesday night and just dominate from the first minute all the way up to the last whistle. No ifs, ands, or buts. Nobody picked us to get to the playoffs, let alone the play-in tournament. With everything that has went up and down with this season, the Lakers are in the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the play-in tournament. LeBron James has been pretty darn good. AD's been fairly good. Austin Reeves is the closer for this team. Rui Hachimura has been a godsend. Malik Beasley, when he's got it going, D-Lo, if we could get Mo Bamba in on the rotation, and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, to me, is the unsung hero to some extent. Because when it's time to go down and bang low, he's there. It all starts and ends with one player, two initials. AD. I believe that Tuesday night will be the AD show again. LeBron will do his thing, but everybody's going to be watching AD. We are going to be it's going to be a lit arena on Tuesday night. I wish I can be there, but I know the Laker faithful will be there to cheer us on and have a great time. Now we're going to get into the preview of Tuesday night's game between the Lakers and the Timberwolves. The Lakers finished 7th place in the Western Conference, and with a record of 43-39, Timberwolves finish 8th with a record of 42-40. Last time these teams faced off, which would have been roughly a week and a half ago, Lakers won 123-111 in Minnesota on that 5-game road trip, in which AD had 38 points and 17 rebounds. The Minnesota Timberwolves, right now, going through the injury report and how they self-destructed today at the most inconvenient time, but I'm about to dive into that as we go into this matchup preview. As it stands right now for the injury report for our Lakers, newly signed Shaquille Harrison and Tristan Thompson are doubtful. They were signed today for roster depth, for the play-in tournament and to start the postseason. Tristan Thompson is a former teammate of LeBron's in Cleveland. Those 4 years they went to the finals when he won chip in 2016. He was most recently with the Sacramento Kings, if I'm not mistaken, or the Celtics, one of those two. He was at ESPN for a hot second. Shaquille Harrison is from the G League. And Dennis Schroeder is doubtful, dealing with the sore Achilles. So we'll know more about the injury report as we get closer to game time on Tuesday evening. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Naz Reid is out. Matt Ryan, former Laker, is questionable. Jalen Noel is doubtful. And Rudy Gobert is doubtful, depending on the team ramifications for his incident with teammate Kyle Anderson today, in which he punched in a timeout. I will say this, and I will get back to our regular scheduled programming. Rudy Gobert. Rudy. How does that trade make Minnesota look right now? They're stuck. There's a possibility that Rudy Gobert could be suspended in the biggest game of their season. Would not hurt my feelings at all. Because Rudy Gobert does not help the Timberwolves offensively. He may help them defensively, but what does he do on offense outside of alley-oops that can help the Timberwolves? Outside being a decoy to, get easy shots down low off of missed bunny shots. Jaden McDaniels is out with a broken hand. He punched his hand into a wall out, near the tunnel. Talk about this team and this dysfunction right now. This is not a good look for the Timberwolves, but it looks like it's smooth sailing in the Pacific Ocean for the Lakers. But they cannot get too comfortable and complacent against Minnesota whatsoever. The Minnesota Timberwolves will come in with everything they got between Ant-Man and Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. That's basically all they have. Mike Conley is a serviceable point guard, but what's Mike Conley going to give him? Taurean Prince. I mean, you're looking at a team at one point was fighting just to get back into the play-in. They made the big trade for Rudy Gobert and gave up picks and players to the Jazz. I mean, as my GRYD teammate and co-founder and Bear Grant Jr. from the All Even podcast, shout out to him. Go check his stuff out, his content, his latest episode on the GRYD. Anybody with a functioning brain and eyes knew that trade was not going to work. It has not worked. It has been a disaster. How does Rudy Gobert help the Timberwolves offensively? He won't be much of a factor Tuesday night. Because all eyes are going to be on him for his stupidity with Kyle Anderson in a timeout. They send him home. Ladies and gentlemen, this goes to show you of a team who has structure, culture, and discipline. There's leaders. Minnesota's a young team, but they don't really have a leader. They don't have that veteran presence on their team that can hold them accountable. The Lakers got LeBron. AD to an extent is a veteran. He's pretty much a veteran. He's been in the league for a decade, you might as well say. But these young guys, they follow LeBron's lead. They know when they know where to draw the line. They respect him. Coach Ham, old school. Well, we'll go knee deep on a guy if he has to put them in check. There is levels to this. Minnesota is catching the Lakers at the wrong time on their part. The Lakers finished strong. The Timberwolves, they're limping. They're the wounded animal, but the wounded animal can still somehow rise up to the occasion. Ant-Man will do his thing. Cat probably has some highlight reel, but we all know who the better and superior team is going into the matchup, and that's the Lakers. One way or another, this game on Tuesday night is going to be, I wouldn't say a legacy game for LeBron James, but the media will paint this narrative that If you don't make the playoffs for the second straight year, LeBron, well, what's more for you? Where do you go from here? Where do you go from here going into year 21 in 2024, and you'd be 39 years old? LeBron James will show up. We may see another virtuoso performance like we did today, but I do expect AD to be ready to go, because I believe that it starts and ends with one player, two initials, AD. We need you, AD. This is not the time for you to disappear. We need you to just be aggressive. Don't settle for jump shots. Go down low, because nobody can stop you. Play with heart. Give an effort, because you're going to be the second best player on the floor. LeBron can't go out and score 38, 39 points and try to will this team to a victory, and you not giving us at least 25, 30. It's going to be an all-out effort from everybody. All hands on deck. Come in tomorrow on Monday. Get your work in. Film study. You don't have to travel. You get to stay at home in your beds. And you get to play at home in front of the home crowd. You win Tuesday night. We get a few days off before we board a plane and head to Memphis in what could be a very interesting matchup. We are going to see Laker Nation, but tonight is all about LeBron James. Salute to LeBron, LeVirtuoso James. Logo is hitting threes today. He's gotten a little bit better, but just like today, he had the hot hand. We don't know if we're going to get that on Tuesday night from the three-point land. But I'm going to enjoy this win for the next few hours. And then I'm going to gear up and get ready for Tuesday night. With everything that's going on, I've got my notifications set on my phone for Lakers updates. This has been a very, very interesting season to say the least. We've been up, we've been down, but we were never out of it. Everybody in that locker room believed that we can get to the play-in. The media was ready to write us off, but we didn't count ourselves out. Despite adversity and turmoil, roster turnover, we got to the play-in and we finished with a 500 record of 43-39. It's not pretty, nor is it the best record. But we're back where we belong, and that's in the postseason, hopefully. That is all the time I have for tonight's show. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the GRYD Network on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and even on our YouTube channel. Be sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend, send the link out, let everybody know that the GRYD is doing things. Big shout out to all my teammates over there. Big shout out to all of Laker Nation. Big shout out to all those who have been rocking with me since the inception of this show. Be sure to follow the GRYD on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Be sure that you keep it right here on the GRYD. We've got a lot of things coming. There's a variety of shows for everybody. Got the generalized sports shows, and we've got our niche projects, our podcast. Let's go ahead, wear your purple and gold proudly to start the week. Wear your LeBron jersey if you got one, an AD jersey, a snapback, Whatever Laker apparel you have, wear it. Loud and proud. Rep LA. I may live here in the Midwest, but rest assured, I'll have my Laker snapback on, barring any rain. I don't like wearing my snapbacks out in bad weather, and it's been some rain here lately in the Midwest. Feels like every 4 days we've had severe weather, but I hope everybody's staying safe. Be sure to take care of your mental and your physical, emotional, and intimate health. If you know of anybody who needs help with that, please seek treatments and get with your local primary care physician. Use your resources. And always spread love and not hate. With everything that's going on in the world right now, we all need hugs. We all need to go to therapy. I'm in therapy right now. So I say that to tell all Laker Nation, if nobody told you today that they love you, I love you. I may not know you from Adam and Eve, but I will open my world, my heart and ears to listen. Regardless of your walk of life and what you believe in, always know that you are loved, valued, and appreciated. Don't let society paint this picture for you. Continue to strive for greatness, as LeBron says. Be the very best version of yourself. Start the week on Monday on a high note. Yes, we won today and whatnot, but in your personal life, your professional career, be great. Go be the best that you can be. Continue to enlighten yourself. Educate yourself. Everything that's going on in our society right now is not pretty. But to continue to use your voice and your platform to promote change. As someone who's been through a lot in my life, I am doing a very in-depth series on mental health on my other podcast, Chaotic Sports Podcast. That's on the GRYD as well. Go check that out. Please do. You all are wonderful individuals. You are loved and you are appreciated. So if nobody told you today, be safe. Stay blessed. Everybody needs a hug. With that being said, y'all have a wonderful night. I love y'all. And may we keep this thing going on the podcast level. Laker Nation, let's go. Lake Show is on a roll. This is all that I have for tonight on the Forum. The Forum, a Los Angeles Lakers podcast. The Forum, where it all started with Showtime. I'm Patrick L. Brown. Y'all have a great evening. I'll see y'all next week. Peace out.